maybe give a response on something that you asked about, as far as, us sending him deals to review and stuff, and him saying he's a deal junkie. I know in our conversation last night, from what I received from Cody, was he's a lot about this relationship. He wants repeat. So, like anything, as we're building that relationship, from what I interpreted last night was he'll be able to look at these deals and stuff like that. So if it's the first one, I don't know, maybe you can take the time, but I think the more we build those relationships, and I know Pardo talked about this at the last one, we can then, hey, check out this deal real quick, check this out. But again, I think it is, as far as building relationship. My question, though, was to elaborate for everybody. You said building a story. Mm-hmm. So can you give some of us who have not been through traditional lending what you would like to see in that story to send out to these other lenders?
Yeah, so the story, that's what I do. I'm like a glorified storyteller in most cases. The borrower has a story, the property's got a story, seller's got a story, and how you craft that story is I think more important now than ever. If you are going to craft it yourself, I mean, just look at, I think what we talked about, Anthony, is how we related that back to Hollywood. Hollywood's been great at telling stories for how long now? They make movies, those movies tell stories. Every single one of those movies follows a framework. That framework is the exact same every single time. The exact same. Every single time. Hero's journey. It's the exact same. What you're positioning, like the bank's getting into business with you. They're not getting into business with the seller, or really the property. They're lending on the property, but you're the one operating it. The property by itself can't do what it needs to do to produce. You've got to do it. So they're getting business with you. Tell your story. I got a lot of clients that try to just send, basic information, but then expect the world out of me to craft this elaborate story. And it's like I'm having to click into their LinkedIn and try to get a story about them, and the websites. If you can put together a bio on yourself, if you don't have one already, put together a bio on yourself, your experience, this mastermind. I lean on this whenever we've got deals in progress with a couple of you in here now, that we leaned on the fact that you have access to this mastermind. This is huge. Part of that's the story as well, that you're plugged in, you're engaged, you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are doing the same stuff, that you've got the right pieces of the team to be successful no matter which property you go by.
And the other part, before I'm going to add one thing, then we're going to go to Matt for our final question, because we do have to wrap up and move to the next segment. But I want to encourage all of you to lean into all of your experience, especially first-time buyer. If you were ever a first-time storage buyer, raise your hand, right? Everybody who bought a storage facility was there at one point. Now, the markets have changed some. Things might be I'm not pretending it wasn't easier for me 12 years ago than it was today, but the bottom line is I had no experience. So what did I lean on? The fact that I had been relatively successful in single family world. And if you can succeed in single family world at a 50 to 55% income to expense ratio, I'm not pretending, Mr. Lender, that storage doesn't have nuances and that I know everything. There's going to be something for me to learn. But what I am confident of is that if I survived at a 55% expense ratio, I can at least survive, if not thrive, at a 33% income to expense ratio. What did I just do there? I, in this instance, taught the lender the difference in income to expense ratios that they didn't even know at that point. Obviously, if you're dealing with more sophisticated lenders, they're going to know that. But instead of them one of their jobs is to vet you. Make that really, really easy by preempting all of their objections. Don't make them interview to find out how much you know. Show them how much you know with the way that you show up, with your business plan and with your interviews. And it doesn't have to be previous storage experience that your story is built on. It can be other things. Does that make sense?